Okay, today we're going to be teaching you how to make the wooden box speaker kit from trash amps. Here you see all the things that the kit includes. You got the wooden box right here, the face with a paper mask in case you want to paint it so you don't get paint in this area. We got a printed circuit board, toggle switch, the control panel and trash amp's charm. We got a male header here, LED module, 3 button head screws, so you have 1 extra and you'll use 2, and 3 flathead screws. Again, you'll use 2 of them and you'll have 1 extra. 3.5 millimeter auxiliary jack, speaker, and battery holder. Alright, let's get started. The first step is to insert the 3.5 millimeter jack into the printed circuit board and flip it over and make 5 solder joints. You want to make sure that part lies flat against the board and doesn't go cockeyed on you. Next we're going to solder the LED module onto the circuit board. So you're going to go ahead and insert it on the board, flip it over, and solder 4 solder joints. And again, you want to make sure that part is lying flat against the board and isn't falling off. Next we're going to solder the switch onto the board. You might have to bend the leads a little bit to get them to fit in the holes, but once you do, flip it over and complete 8 solder joints. Again, you're going to want to make sure that the switch is nice and flat against the circuit board so that the 3 components that we've soldered so far will line up in the control panel. Next we're going to solder the male header onto the circuit board. So go ahead and insert it in the holes. It should clip right in. Once you get it on there flat, flip it over and complete 2 solder joints. You're doing a great job. Now we're going to solder the battery holder onto the circuit board. Now make sure there's no batteries in your holder when you do this, and make sure that red goes in the positive hole and black goes in the negative hole. Then go ahead and flip it over. You might want to bend the leads so they don't fall out, and then complete 2 solder joints. Now we're going to paint the box. This is an optional step. You can see here you got the face and you got the box itself, and we have this paper mask on here so that when you paint it, no paint goes in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and take some spray paint, or you could paint it with the brush and paint all the surfaces that are visible and let it dry and then come back. Okay, I've painted my box and let it dry. I've painted all the surfaces that are going to be visible when you put the kit together. And this guy has this mask on here, so at this point we can poke that out. And now we have a nice clean space for the control panel, which we're going to install in just a minute. Now we're going to install the control panel into the box face. So I'm going to remove the paper backing. And then be really careful, this is very sticky stuff, so once you stick it, it's not meant to come up. So start in one edge, make sure the corners are flush, and then work it down. And then I'm going to flip it over and push it down on the table to make sure it really gets in there good. Now we're going to attach the battery holder to the wooden box face using the flathead screws. We gave you 3, but you'll hopefully only need 2. Just gave you 3 in case you lose one. So go ahead and line it up, drop a screw in there, screw it down until the head is flush, but no need to over tighten this because you could strip the screw. Now we're going to attach the speaker to the wooden box face using the button head screws, and again we gave you 3, gave you 1 extra in case you were to lose one. What I found works well is putting the first screw in before you put the speaker on. Just a little bit, a few turns, and then slide the speaker there with the leads coming downward. And then grab another screw, put that in, and then you want to tighten these down until they're touching the metal, but again, you don't want to over tighten them and strip the wood. Next, we're going to install the printed circuit board onto the wooden face. You'll notice that there's two nuts, one for the 3.5mm jack and one for the toggle switch. So I'm going to take those off, put them aside, insert the circuit board through the face, flip it over, and then put the nuts back on. That one you could tighten with some pliers if you want to, but probably doesn't need to be too tight. And then the jack nut, you'll notice on one side has two little notches. So if you put those facing out, you can use it with something like a ruler to tighten the jack nut down. Now we're going to plug the speaker header into the male header we soldered earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in, and you'll notice that the circuit board has a plus and minus on it, and again the red wire should be connected to plus and black wire should be connected to minus. Now we're going to install 3 AA batteries in the battery holder. This should give you about 40 to 50 hours of battery life. Make sure you put them in correct there, and then take the top and slide it into the bottom nice and gently. And if it gets stuck, sometimes it's because this back face here is bowing in a little bit. Now we're going to put the finishing touch on. Take the adhesive backing off. Very sticky tape. And then I'm probably going to try and cover both of these 2 screws. That looks centered. You could measure it or just eyeball it. Push it on there. Now we're ready to rock out. Now we're ready to test out our speaker. We're going to plug in the cord, switch it to MP3, plug in the iPod, press play. You'll notice that the volume of your speaker is controlled by your iPod. And people always want to know what's the difference between guitar mode and MP3 mode, so if you turn the music down on your iPod and then switch it over, you'll notice that it's a higher volume. And the center position is off. There you go. Alright, now we're going to give it a shot with an electric guitar. So using a 3.5mm adapter to 1/4 inch, I'm going to plug that into the guitar, then plug my cord in there, and then switch it to guitar mode. Again, the volume of your guitar is going to control the volume of the speaker, so there you go, I got a little practice guitar amp for you. We really hope you've enjoyed putting together this speaker kit, and please send us an email to let us know if you have any suggestions or comments, or send us a picture of how your box turned out.